Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of Ask Coach Marie. I'm Marie O'Neill, founder of Padma Life Coaching, and your host on this series. This is the place where you ask a question and I give my unique opinion as a life renewal coach, astrologer, and past life regression facilitator. Please know that I am not a therapist and I will never tell you what you must do. Each week on Friday, a new video is released with me answering 2 questions from the viewers. In addition to that, I talk about various other life renewal topics. Let's go ahead and get started with the questions for this week. Our first question comes from Nikki, who is in Los Angeles, California. Nikki says, I have 2 adorable grandchildren who I love dearly and enjoy spending time with. The problem is that their parents seem to think I should be available to babysit at any time, even on short notice. When I say I have other plans, they get upset and accuse me of not wanting to help them. This isn't true. I feel as though I'm being taken advantage of. What can I do to remedy the situation? Good question, Nikki, and thank you for sending this question in. Your feelings are extremely important here. If you feel as though you are being taken advantage of or manipulated, then that is something that has to be addressed. It's your feelings that are important. And where I would begin is with having a conversation with your children about this, letting them know how you feel, and letting them know how, their actions actually cause you to feel. It may or may not be their intention to manipulate or to take advantage of you. I don't know, because I'm, of course, not in the situation. You are. One of the things that can happen, of course, with kids is that they get overwhelmed with everything that they're doing, and they need the help and actually get to a point of actually expecting the help. And in this case, this is an expectation. You have to set some boundaries here too with your kids. State what it is you will do and you won't do. And you have to hold your feet to the fire to maintain those boundaries. It's very difficult to shift boundaries with someone else when you have not had boundaries with them for a very long period of time. And this is what you want to do. You need to set some new ground rules with your kids about babysitting. One of the ways to do this is, if you're going to have a conversation, and I do recommend that you do, you want to get them in a position where they are feeling good and feeling upbeat and not stressed. If you can set a time to talk to them, maybe you have a parents' night or parents' day somewhere, go out to dinner, go away from the household to have this conversation, and not be confrontational at any time, but state what it is you're feeling and what it is you need. Your well-being is just as important as the kids' well-being. As a matter of fact, if you are feeling manipulated and taken advantage of, it can affect your relationship with your grandkids. I'm not saying it will, but it can, and that's not something that you want. So my recommendation is to talk to them and set some boundaries and make sure that you're able to hold your boundary line, whatever it is, and not budge. We teach people how to treat us, and we start teaching them from the moment that we meet them. And with your kids, it's been a long time. So you want to change the situation, and it's going to take work. It may not be something that you can do overnight. This may be a continual conversation that you have. And, make sure that you also enlist the help of other grandparents who are taking care of their kids and maybe feel the same way, or maybe they don't feel the same way because the situation may be different. What I'm getting at here is enlist the help of another set of grandparents who are also taking care of the grandkids and get their viewpoint on this and how they are setting boundaries with their kids. You want to get somebody who is setting boundaries and able to set boundaries, not someone who is allowing themselves to be abused and walked over. So I hope this answers your question. Please put a comment below or email me letting me know how this all works out. All right. Our topic for this week is the shadow self. And one of the reasons I wanted to talk about that is because it came up the other day in a conversation that I was having. All of us have a shadow self. That shadow self we may or may not be aware of, but it's there and it's running the show. Now, the term shadow self was created by Carl Jung, the psychologist. He didn't see it as a negative. He just saw it as something that we didn't know was there. Now, in astrology, we look at a little bit differently. The shadow self is something that is hindering you from being your full authentic self and something that you need to work on. You have to first see it. And does the shadow really ever want to be seen? Probably not. But here's something that would be good for you to do if you want to learn about your shadow self. Ask one of your dearest friends about your shadow self, the parts of you that they see but you don't see. The shadow self is usually seen by other people. It's just not seen by the individual who has the shadow, which is quite interesting. In astrology, each of the zodiac signs has a shadow side. It can be as simple as someone who is all giving and just caring, but doesn't have boundaries. Well, the lack of boundaries is a shadow part that needs to be worked on. Think about what's bothering you right now. See if you can uncover the root cause of what is going on with you right now. You might find that it's a shadow part of yourself that you need to work on. And there's plenty of ways to work on the shadow self. You can do some journaling, you can do meditation, you can, of course, have therapy. What I usually do is do a meditation and ask the question, where does this issue originate? And I'm usually shown where the issue originates, and then I have to go in and work on that issue. The shadow self can come from childhood, it can come from prior life, it can come from your ancestors. But I do know that when you decide to work on your shadow self, all sorts of issues start to come up for you to deal with. It's important to do it. It's important to know your shadow self if you can. That's what I wanted to talk about here today. Let's go ahead and go through the next question for today. Our next question comes from Laura, who is in Pennsylvania. Laura says, I'm 28 years old and have no idea what I want to be when I grow up, and I'm beginning to be concerned. I've worked mostly odd jobs, which pay the bills, but I am not passionate about my job or any job I've ever had. Is there something wrong with me? Laura, I would actually suspect that there's absolutely nothing wrong with you. I would suspect that you just haven't been able to find the right work. Being 28 years old, you're getting to a point where you're being asked to mature. But 28 is, if we're getting to what we call the Saturn return, and Saturn is the planet of maturity. It's coming back to the position it was in at the point of your birth. That's what I mean by maturity. When you reach a certain age, you're asked to move into another arena, being a full adult or being a full elder. And at 28, this is when that process begins the first time. So that's where you are. Now, you were talking about, or you said that you've worked a lot of odd jobs, but you've done it to pay the bills, but you're not passionate. One of the things that I would recommend you do is think about what you are passionate about. What really makes your heart sing. That's where you start. It can be something that you did as a child. Could have been something that you did in school that you absolutely loved. I'm just using this as a starting point. I'm not saying that you need to find a job doing what you did when you were a kid or a child, but this is a starting point to start helping you to figure out what your passion is. Write down the things that you like to do and the things that you don't like to do. See what types of jobs fit in to the area on your list of what it is you like to do. You can also test drive, of course, different jobs. It could be also that you're meant to be an entrepreneur. You never know. One of the things that I would recommend you do, though, is go to some job fairs. I would recommend you get an astrology reading to look at your gifts. The astrology reading can help you figure out if you have a mission and what that mission is, what the attributes of the work that would be best suited for you would be. That's something that I would highly recommend that you do. So send me an email. Let me know how it all turns out. You can also comment below. So we have come to the end of the questions for this week. If you have questions, please send them to padmacoach@icloud.com. That's padmacoach@icloud.com. Please be sure to like and subscribe to this YouTube station. Now, one other thing, I have a virtual healing retreat that I will be hosting on June 18th and 19th. And basically, it's healing with the cosmos. There's going to be 5 wonderful presentations given by 5 different astrologers. And I will have more information up about the retreat on my website and also on YouTube, and also put a link down below to the Eventbrite page once that is up. Tickets go on sale May 17th. Be sure to check back for more information on that. Once again, thank you for watching this video. Send your questions to me, comment below, like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and I will see you back here next week. Bye-bye.